Breaking news, Columbia Green Federal Credit Union just saved our member $105 a month on their car payment.
That's no surprise. CGFCU helps our members save thousands.
Wait, thousands?
Yep, we have fantastic rates and flexible terms.
We save our members by refinancing autos, boats, campers, and even credit cards.
Apply today, see how much you can save.
Well, hello again, and welcome to Hudson Valley 360's Press Box, brought to you by our good friends at Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. My name is Tim Martin. Two special guests here today from Catskill. We have Catskill Boys Varsity Head Coach Doug Lampman.
Thank you for having me back.
And Catskill Assistant Coach Andy Jones. Andy, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So glad to have you guys too. I want to talk a little bit, of course, about the season and how it's going so far. And You guys are 16-2, have 2 games left in the regular season. Yeah. But first, of course, we have to touch on the Hudson game.
Okay.
It was a little more than a week ago.
It was quite a...
that was quite the night. I mean, the atmosphere was special, as always. Anytime Hudson and Catskill play, you know, we, again, throw the records out the window. But as is usually the case, both teams vying for the Patroon Conference Championship. What do you think was different about the way you played these guys this time? I know they got you by 12 at your place early on in the season, back in December 18th, I believe it was. But this time around, you guys had something for them, and you guys pulled out an 11-point win, 72-61.
I think we were able to handle the stage. I mean, for a lot of the guys that were playing that first Hudson game, with different roles. Of course, we had some key injuries back then, and I think the stage was a little bigger than they could handle, and they learned from it, which is what you want from kids like that. And I had talked to you about that after that loss, and as long as we learned from it, and I think they learned from it. I think that the Hudson Catskill game prepares us for things going forward because the stage hopefully will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and we've got to be able to rise to that. Do you think?
The biggest part for me was we didn't have Yusuf Bushik here.
That first game.
And he's a huge leader for us.
No question.
And I think that the players on the court felt that, and that was a big part of the first game. And once they got him back and he was at full strength, I think their confidence was up, and he's a huge part of what we do, and that was the big part for me.
No question. Shows what your team is made of, too. I mean, after that loss at home against Hudson, didn't fold the tents, just came back strong, mark it down on the calendar. They were going to meet them again, and again, just took that big lead early on in the game and just held them off. I mean, a very impressive showing. In front of an electric crowd. I mean, the place, Columbia Green Community College, the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, is always a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it is.
In Catskill,
it's neat. It's neat that the kids of our program get an opportunity to play in that type of a game in the regular season. Most schools see that in the postseason. And so for our kids, it's definitely something that they circle, and it requires them to deal with some adversity. You know, that first game was a huge adversity early in the season that we had to overcome, and they were able to overcome it. So. It is. It's fun for the fans from Hudson. It's fun from the fans from Catskill. They certainly enjoy the competitive rivalry, and the kids stepped up this time and got it done. So it was neat.
You played 18 games so far, and the thing that strikes me about the Catskill lineup is the balance in your scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Justice Brantley, who leads the way at 19 points per game, but Justin Worth has stepped up big time as well this year. He's got 18 points per game. You've got a couple of kids averaging 12 points per game, and then you've got Yusuf, which we mentioned earlier, who could be scoring probably 10 to 15 himself.
I think if there's a signature that Coach and I try to done over the years, the signature is that it's a team game, and so we develop from the bottom all the way to the top. And trying to get everybody involved. I've never really been the guy, I don't think we've ever coached where so-and-so's got to get this shot and you need to get him this shot and he's the only one on shooting at the time, which a lot of coaches do. We coach a more of a holistic approach that anybody can step up at any time. The challenge with our offense is that it requires unselfish play, and that's a challenge that we have to overcome every year. You agree? And
they've overcome it.
Any team that's been successful has been able to overcome that. That's a huge part of our offense because it's a very multi-layered offense. So
you hit up on it, though. I mean, we got not only Yusuf, all 5 of those guys that start can average 20 points a game.
No question
and
about it.
And they bought into it, and they know that. So if one guy's hot, they're going to ride him, and that's the way they've been doing it all year, and it works out for us. So.
Now, Andy, I know you are one of the great players in Catskill history, especially at the guard position. Talk to me about Justice Brantley, what he brings to the table. He's just a junior, and he's the leading scorer at 19 points per game, but he does so much for this team and means so much to this team.
He brings a lot of leadership. He's probably the guy that leads the team the most. If we need him to slow down or run the offense, he's the guy that's most headstrong and gets the team going where they had to go.
Sure.
He's got the respect of the older guys. He is a junior, and we are senior heavy. Those guys have stepped up and respect his leadership. So he fit in well when he came in this last year, and this year is another year, and he's just fit in well. He does everything we ask of him. He's a hard worker, and he's a good player.
You say the same thing about Justin Worth. There's another kid that comes in. It might be kind of an unsung kind of kid because of a player like Justice. You have so many good players on the team that it's easy maybe not to be recognized so much, but he has come in and is definitely one of the best big men in the league.
I think you just mentioned the challenge. The challenge is that you have to not care about the recognition. You have to not care about who's getting the headlines and who's getting the big pat on the back for being a high scorer. That's something that we are constantly dealing with because to run our sets and to run our offense, that has to be a part of it. There's no room for selfish me first. So you're right. I mean, Justin accepts his role, and Justice accepts his role, and Yusef, and they all build together. And that is our formula for putting a quality team on the floor every year. And frankly, it's fun to watch. Now, the downside to it is no one guy ever. Have we ever had? Even Lacey was a piece of the puzzle.
Right.
We don't showcase one player. We showcase all five that are on the floor, and Justin is a product of that. And Willie. I mean, Willie's an amazing talent who's given up a lot of individual accolades. Yeah, he's given up a lot of individual accolades where he would be that at another school for the better of the program, and it's worked out. So it's something that we try to pride ourselves in.
And again, it goes to show the depth in terms of scoring with this team. He had 27, Willie Bartholomew, the other night, and led the way with 27 against Coxsackie Athens. You had Justice Brantley with 24. So, again, on any given night, any one of these kids can step up and
that's the way it's designed.
Definitely lead the way. I want to get a little plug in for the kids coming off the bench as well. I mean, everybody knows Catskill's got one of the top starting fives around, not just in the league, but in Section 2, Class B. No question about that. But the kids coming off the bench, I think, have stepped up as well. You had a couple of kids come up from the JV team in Vanis and Malik, and they're stepping up as well, I think, and really giving these kids that are starting, a valuable blow every once in a while. Get a little breather here and there.
Well, here's my substitute guy. He hits his assignment. One of his assignments he took over about 7-8 years ago.
All right,
and it's been great because he's able to look at the personnel. So I'll let you speak to how you manage the bench.
I just kind of look at the flow of the game, what we need. Foul trouble definitely comes into it. But like you said, some of those younger guys that have stepped up, they're practicing against those guys every day.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why when I put them in the game, they should be ready to play against a Hudson or whatever the other school we're playing. It doesn't really matter because every day they're practicing hard and they know the sets. And if you're ready, you're ready, and I'm going to give you that chance to go out there and be ready, and they respond. So.
Are you happy with the production off the bench so far this year?
I'm very happy with it. I mean, we've got some seniors that step up too. I mean, Billy Fitzmaurice has done a wonderful job for us too. So guys have stepped up. They work hard as the starters in practice, and they deserve to play, and that's when I try to get them in the game.
Now, everybody knows Patroon Conference always takes a bad rap when it comes to the strength in the teams, and they're always good teams up at the top, but then towards the bottom, people will say it's not as strong as some of the other conferences. But you've had a challenging non-league schedule this year, including playing in the Kerwin Cup tournament, where we had a big win over
Double A Schenectady. Well, it is. That was a big one. We were down to 17 at one point.
15 going into the fourth.
I guess a very athletic Double A team.
They were good too. They were very good season. The rap on the Patroon is that we're always down, but yet. Hudson went up there and did their run, and they came through. We've done our runs over the past. The downside is that they're C schools. So when you're playing against Maple Hill at the C, they should do very well in their tournament, but it doesn't help us as a B, help us or Hudson as a B. But no, I mean, Patroon Conferences, we've had champions just like this Colonial has, just like they all have. And I think it's remiss to say that. But you're right. That's why we put the the Kerwin Cup on our schedule, because we want to go up there and see how we could fare. The Mohonasen game, we played them very competitively for 3/4 of the game, and we ended up beating Schenectady. So hopefully that will show that we can play basketball with talent. I feel comfortable playing. We'll play Doesn't matter to play anybody.
Taking
Yeah.
on all comers.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to do that because the Section 2 Class B playoffs are coming up real soon.
It'll make it easy.
That's for sure. And the Bs are going to be as tough as ever. Where do you see Catskill fitting in? Again, you can go maybe 1 through 8 as far as teams that really have a legitimate chance of making some noise in this tournament. Of course, you got the McKeels. You've got the Glens Falls with Joe Gerard.
Yep.
You've got the
Chalmont's very good.
Chalmont's very good.
Waterville's very good.
There's 4 right there.
And right there, that's where I'd put Catskill, right in that argument,
Okay.
right in that mix, or maybe the 5th in that group.
Sure.
But there are some Colebrook's had some. There's other schools that have had some good seasons. Schuylerville is always there.
I mean, let's not forget about Hudson.
Bishop Gibbons is in there now this year
Gibbons,
too. So,
exactly.
And there's a lot. The Bees are loaded. It's going to be a tough tournament. It always is a tough tournament. But we've done what we needed to do to prove. And if we continue to round out the season, and there's still got 2 big games left.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the seating meeting feeling confident that we should be in the talk with those top programs, and then we got to take care of business. I don't know.
We'll be ready.
We'll be ready.
I have no doubt about that. I know the kids are definitely looking forward to that as well, because especially the seniors. This is their last go round, and they want to go out with a bang and take that season as far as they can.
Yeah.
And speaking of taking seasons as far as they can, I know, Andy, you are all about going deep into the sections and beyond when you played for those great Catskill teams in 83, 84. I have to bring it up. I mean, every time I talk to somebody about Catskill basketball, I have to talk about those 80s teams. I'm a fossil anyway.
No.
Yeah, when you're 152 years old, you remember those kind of things. But I'll tell anybody who listens, the most impressive teams I've seen since I've been watching high school basketball in our area were the 81-82 Catskill team. You know all about, and the 83-84 team, which you played on, Andy. I mean, now, I know you were familiar with the 81-82 team as well. If you can, give us a little comparison between those two teams. They're both teams.
I can't compare them. I played on the 83-84 team.
Of course, so that was a better team, right?
I think balance-wise, seriously though, I think the 83-84 team was more balanced. We had a true point guard in Sean, true shooting guard in myself.
Sure.
Eric was on both teams.
Right.
But then we had Jim Lacey and
Yes.
Mike Quinn, who were great athletes and great shooters.
People forget about Mike Quinn on that team.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Mike Quinn could shoot.
So, for me, looking at it, being a basketball guy, I would say that we were a little more talented. Defensively, the 81-81 team, that was the defensive team.
Yeah.
Nobody scored on us. They only gave up like 30 points a game.
Right.
So we probably would have had a tough time scoring.
Sure.
Eric always said he would have played with us, so that might have given us an edge.
There you go. I was going to say, if you ever had to get one of those alumni type
Would you
games
rather
back in
go
old
to the
days.
postseason as a coach or as a player?
It's tough.
That's a good question.
It was tough. I enjoyed it when I was a player, so my time has passed. So right now, I would say as a coach.
As a coach.
All right.
I've always
That's
been
fair.
there, and now like the kids that I've been working with over the last 15 years with Doug, I like to see them, have a part of that and what it means and how it feels to get far deep in the sectionals.
I don't want to rip open a wound of a painful memory, but talk to me about that team, 83-84. I know you got real far, and then you ran into this Buffalo Bennett team, I believe.
Buffalo Bennett,
and
defending state champions.
Yeah, tell us about that game if you would.
You really want to open a wound, don't you?
I don't want to, but I had
Well,
to.
on paper, they were huge. Their front line was 6'8", 6'8", and 6'4", but
Sure.
we had beaten Shelton Jones the week before.
I was going to say Amityville, right?
And we beat them the week before, so
Okay.
we were confident going in.
Right.
We took them to double overtime.
Oh.
It was a tie game.
Painful.
Eric hit one foul shot, and we didn't get back, and ball bounced off the rim.
I was going to say, didn't they throw a Hail Mary or something? And
I
bounce
shot
off
it from half court. I turned around, and here comes this guy about 6'8" who grabbed it and put it in.
As the
I was
buzzer
waiting for the buzzer
sounds.
to go with the ball in the air. And
That was like 81-80 or something like that. I think
They
it was.
lost on, I think, the same thing, foul shots by 1 point to a team from Syracuse.
Oh, you're talking about the 81-82 team.
They lost to Syracuse.
Right,
Yeah,
that's right,
or
Nottingham.
something like that.
Right, I think Dorsey Levens was on that team,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, for Syracuse. Went on to play football
Two
at Georgia Tech.
painful state championships that we could have had. Thank you, Tim, for bringing that up.
And the only reason I say that is because
Appreciate it, buddy.
Andy, you were the best. I'm telling you. I mean, there's no question about it. Like I say, that the 81-82 team. Like I say, I was just a kid, and I just remember that team in particular because of just not just the starting five, but again the bench. you had guys coming off the bench who'd probably start and star
Anywhere else.
for any other team, and 83, 84 was no slouch. And again, 84, 85, I remember you and Sean were still on the team, and you went pretty far, right? You
we
went
lost
to
the game
regionals?
lost the game before the state getting back to the state tournament.
Oh, man.
Sean was hurt, and we lost to a team from
Right.
Long Island by 3.
Oh, man. Just great. Well, what do you think? I mean, here, Catskill is a small area. I mean, how could a school, the size of Catskill and the size of the vicinity, the town of Catskill, the village of Catskill, just produce so many great players and teams over the years, you think?
Back when I grew up, it was a boys' club.
Mm-hmm.
That was open, and we always had hopping-dos. And everybody played.
Sure.
I mean, it didn't matter if it was snowing out, we shoveled the
just
snow.
love to play.
If we can get inside, we got inside. We were always asking Frank to open the gym if there was no
Mm-hmm.
school. We all played, and we all grew up playing together. So that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
Especially when we got to my team, like you said, at 83, we knew what each other were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I knew where Eric wanted the ball. He knew where I wanted the ball. Sean knew how to get guys the ball. And it's the same thing now. I mean, these guys that we coach now, they want to play. When we say, okay, get out of the gym, we got to, literally take the balls off the court because they just love the game. They want to get better, and they play. Playing is a big thing.
That's
Playing,
going to
trying
do
to
your
get
heart
better.
good, Doug. Do you see the kind of kids that come out really want to play?
To add to it, I think that there's a culture in Catskill.
Right.
It's ingrained that basketball is something that a lot of the people in the community that are community leaders
Sure.
Believe in, and that is passed down to their children or their nephew or their niece or whatever, and it becomes a cultural thing. And we're just lucky to be a part of it because it is a great community to coach basketball in.
Right.
No
question about it. Okay, in conclusion, I just want to ask you guys: can Catskill win the Section 2 Class B title this year?
I think we can compete with anybody in Section 2. If you can compete with them, you can beat them. The goal is to continue to grow and compete with anybody who steps on that floor, and to have the confidence to be able to perform at your best level. It's hard to make predictions, and I'm not gonna. But I know this: we will compete. We'll compete with anybody.
Ball bounces one way or the other. A few foul calls here, guys getting.
Yeah, there's some things you can't control, but
as far as putting our 5 on the court and somebody else's 5,
I'll take my 5.
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
Take my 5.
I like it. That's confidence right there, and it's warranted because Catskill's had a great year, and who knows how long it'll go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 16-2. You got 2 regular season games left, and then the sectional play, and certainly looking forward to that. But guys, I want to thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to talk
Thanks
to
for your
Catskill
support.
hoops.
Yeah, thanks for your support.
Appreciate it, Andy. You're a legend, man. Appreciate it. But that's going to wrap things up for this week's edition of the HV360 Press Box, brought to you by our good friends at Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. Take care, everybody.